Good evening, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz. It's the all-important final tonight. Pakistan Super League 6th edition is now coming towards its close. It's going to be Multan Sultans up against Peshawar Zalmi, battling it out to see who takes the crown of PSL 6 at the Sheikh Zayed Stadium in Abu Dhabi. The action is going to be live on PTV Sports from 9 p.m. Whoever wins, I think a lot of credit needs to be given to the management of the PCB, the PSL, and everybody involved who have managed to stage the competition, resume it once again in very strict COVID times. But what an action-packed, I think, finale we're going towards, because playoffs, eliminators, all have been absolutely fantastic. It'll be great to analyze the game, the key players, and also the prediction would be very important tonight because it's all in now. So it's all to play for. You win the PSL, you lose, you were just that close to being crowned 6th PSL edition champions. After that, also in cricket, finally the ICC Test Championship came towards a close. Thank God for a reserve day. It was New Zealand who managed to beat India in the final of the World Test Championship at Southampton. New Zealand have been crowned the World Test Champions now. And what a superb performance by New Zealand. Kyle Jamieson, Tim Southee, they won by 8 wickets. And at the end, it was Ross Taylor who fittingly hit those winning runs along with Kane Williamson as well. We'll be discussing all this in tonight's show. Starting off with the PSL action, before I come to in studios and discuss the guests, we've been very honored to be joined by somebody who was very short on time. He's taking a flight as well. His team is in the final and he's going to be wearing yellow definitely. He's none other than Mr. Javed Afridi, the owner of Peshawar Zalmi, who has joined us. We'll be talking to him exclusively tonight, hearing what he has to say and seeing how things can go forward as well. It's very important to see the PSL going forward. Javed bhai, assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for joining us. I understand you're very short on time, but I must ask you first of all, how have you seen PSL being resumed once again? Obviously, it was very difficult times with the COVID, but the team management, the PCB, everybody managed to stay on board and get this started.
I think this year's PSL has been the toughest so far, and not just for our franchise but for the whole PSL as a tournament. Only by giving the circumstances with all the delays and changes, I believe we have done enough to keep the situation under our grip. And Peshawar Zalmi being in the final shows how well and we have been able to manage ourselves.
Definitely. So it's yet another final for Peshawar Zalmi, Javed bhai. If we see the brand of fearless cricket that your side has displayed this season is phenomenal. Especially if you talk about Shoaib Malik and Hazratullah Zazai, they've brought a new brand of cricket now, which is aggressiveness. So what's the secret behind it?
You're absolutely right. First of all, I'm extremely proud of our team for reaching their 4th final in a total of 6 years. I feel this says a lot about our mentality, about the way we intend to carry ourselves, the ability to compete and perform with such consistency. I could not have been asked more from our team. Players like Zazai and Malik are perfect blend for passion and experience, something that goes really well in a format like T20. And I think it has worked out for us as well. The secret to such consistency can be the sort of environment we provide to our whole staff, the feeling of being as one and one family under this franchisee, as we like to address ourselves as the Zalmi family. This is something that has helped our player and the chemistry that can be seen in the ground as well.
Javed bhai, we know that Peshawar has been in the final. They've won the PSL as well. They know what it feels like. So how would you rate Multan as an opposition this season in the final against you? From number 5, they made it all the way to number 2, then beat Islamabad United, who were top of the table, and now in their very first final. How would you rate Multan as an opposition for Zalmi?
Definitely, Multan has had a quiet campaign and they have shown great heart, making a tremendous comeback in the tournament. And one can only be applauded for their efforts. I believe that they would not have been an easy side to compete with in the finals, and I wish them the best of luck as well.
Finally, Javed bhai, I must ask you, Zalmi have been so comfortable chasing any target that have been given to them, which is probably the hardest part in modern cricket, is to chase down a target, even in eliminators, in knockout games. Is that the new Zalmi trend now, that Zalmi is going to be a side that loves to chase?
As a fan of Zalmi from day one, we have always had a tendency to perform under pressure and chase big scores. I would have even say that now we are more used to by playing better when we are under pressure. Jokes apart, but I think this is the fearlessness and the ability to leave it all out on the pitch. which has always helped us in providing positive results.
Right, Javed bhai, thank you so much for joining us on Sports Extra. We understand it was very short on time. He's got a flight to catch, reach the venue as well. But always fun talking to Javed bhai. And definitely Zalmi have brought in a new brand of cricket to the PSL, which is aggressiveness, fearless, and definitely something exciting to watch out for PSL. Time now to introduce our guest in studios. We've been joined by first-class cricketer, very lethal fast bowler. He would be fancying Zazai's game because he also loves to hit the bowlers out of the park with those humongous sixes. Another fellow left-hander that he has been none other than Mr. Nasarullah Khan. Assalamu alaikum, Nasar bhai.
Walaikum assalam.
How are you, sir?
I'm good, thank you.
Welcome to the show. We've also been joined by senior sports journalist and a very dear elder brother. So much to learn from his experience, and he really analyzes the game with all the its and bits that are there. None other than Syed Hadier bhai. Hadier bhai, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Sports Extra.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Right, I think Hadier bhai, I'll give you the first word here. Your thoughts on the final. Zalmi has stunned us. Multan has won our hearts. Which way do you think it's going to go now? Certainly a very high intensity game that we're hoping for.
Exactly. This is the grand finale of the Pakistan Super League, and it's a time of pride that Pakistan Cricket Board has managed very finely in such a situation of the COVID-19 and other circumstances in Abu Dhabi. But it's a great opportunity for the Pakistan nation to watch a big match today. And it would be a great competition between both teams because the both teams are in very good position. If Peshawar Zalmi is having some good batsmen like Zasai and Shoaib Malik and other one Rutherford, and then Multan Sultans is also in very good position. So I'm supposing that tonight it will be a great match, and Pakistan nation will enjoy this match. The main important thing is that we are managing the cricket in such a situation when other countries, they are not able to do some cricket like India and other countries, but Pakistan is still in position to maintain, manage, and to improve the cricket. And PSL is the biggest icon of the Pakistan, and it should be in the future also a big icon of Pakistan.
Definitely. Nasar bhai, your thoughts on the way now we're heading to the final. We've always believed in cricket in a knockout game, and everywhere when we play club cricket, we say bat first, bat first. Zalmi has completely changed that outlook.
Definitely. I mean, if you look at their mindset, I mean, credit should be given to the management, Darren Sammy, you see Inzamam there, and I mean, the experience is already there. And what they have done, they have injected real good power hitters in the form of Zazai, Rutherford is there, and the experience of Shoaib Malik already there. So, if you look at their batting lineup, I mean, it's completely filled with power hitters. In a T20 game, anybody can smash 60, 70 of 40, and he can change the game at its own. Zazai has done in the last two games. So momentum is with both the teams. I guess it's going to be a very good final. But the way Zalmi has come up from nowhere, I would easily say, because in the start, I mean, still their bowling is they had a lot of grey area in their bowling, but it's covered up by their batting. The way Zazai and a surprise package in the form of Wales, I guess, the way he has batted at number 3 and given a lot of addition to their batting lineup as well. So I think it's not going to be easy for Multan, but it's a 50-50 game for me because Multan bowling is really good. Plus in their middle order they have the luxury of Shoaib Maqsood. Then they got some really good power hitters in the form of Charles and Khush Dilshah. So I think anyone can perform from Multan side, and if Zazai fires again, I think it's going to be a cracker of a game.
How have you analyzed this game? Because they tried asking him his secret to power hitting. He just said that it's the Pathan culture in him. But, you know, upper body strength is also there, but the wrist work, because we have not seen this kind of clean hitting even from Chris Gale.
Definitely. The hitting from Zazai, I haven't seen that kind of hitting, because if you look at his body weight, it's some of, if you compare it with Virender Sehwag, it's kind of that, not much feet movement, the balance is there, but hand-eye coordination is really good. You look at Hassan Ali, I mean the bat swing is really important in today's cricket. Mohammad Hafiz, the way he has transformed from golf, I mean these little techniques do a lot of things. And I think Zazai, there is some secret behind his batting. Obviously power is there in Afghani players, the power is there, but it's about the timing. I mean he has found the timing at the right time. Before this tournament, I mean hardly people know about Zazai, but the way he has transformed from nowhere to highlighting the best batsman of the PSL, I mean it's really good to see a player coming from Afghanistan and highlighting a brand like PSL. Believe me, PSL is not a small brand anymore. I mean people look at it, and international players want to play in PSL just to improve their batting. And
definitely. We'll just go towards a short break, but stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sports Extra. With me, Ahmed Nawaz. I'm in conversation with first-class cricketer Nasarullah Khan and senior sports journalist Syed. Hadier, we were talking a bit about Zazai, and Nasir highlighted some technical aspects of his game. Would you believe that the kind of bat speed he is presenting right now is something that is extraordinary and has not been seen so far in cricket, even with the likes of the power hitters that we know, Glenn Maxwell, Chris Gale, Alex Hales? This is something new, because a bat speed like this is surely phenomenal.
Exactly, Zazai. The most important thing what Zazai is having, it's the shifting of balance. It is very important when you are going for the power hitting. And if you can see his both innings, he has not gone down the track, but he has played in the crease, but he has shifted the balance very nicely. And he has got every ball under his bat, and he has got outside the park. This is very important thing for a batsman who is going for the power hitting. I can see such type of the batting, Gilchrist or Matthew Hayden, they have played like that. They were never outside the crease, but they have played in the crease, and they have played very nicely. Every bowler, even fast bowler, spinner bowler, you can see in the last matches, the spinner Shadab Khan has got also some good hits from Zazai. So it's a very good talent of Afghanistan. I think in the future he will be more useful and more better batsman like today. And it is a very good discovery for the Peshawar Zalmi. They have got at right time a good batsman. They were missing a power hitter, and they have got it. So Zazai is one of the most important player of today, power hitting batsman.
Definitely he is, and people have also started claiming that bring him to Pakistan. So that's what they want him to do. But analyzing a thing that has been your favorite always, and that is the bowling department. Now we talk about how Azhar Mahmood has been able to extract so much from the Multan side. Shahnawaz Dhani, probably the find of the PSL, and who would have thought Suhail Tanveer in this age would bring so much experience into the side?
Ahmed, if you look at Multan bowling lineup, I mean it's really underrated. Suhail Tanveer still is the best in T20s. He's there playing a lot of T20 leagues, and experience matters a lot. I mean, if in such crunch eliminators, if you just look at the bowling of Islamabad United, they had the luxury of some new talent, but in that important game, I mean they went for 85. In 8 hours, and when you talk about Akif and Wasim
Junior, yeah.
But if you look at Suhail Tanveer, if you look at Imran Tahir. If you look at Shahnawaz Dhani, I mean, even if you look at Shahnawaz Dhani, he was off colours in that first eliminator.
Yeah, he was.
But I mean, if you look at the bowling lineup of Multan Sultan, it's far better than the bowling lineup of Peshawar Zalmi. And there are a few points to be noted that Multan are going into this final a bit more favourite. You could say 70-30 because Peshawar Zalmi will not be having the luxury of Umaid Asif.
Yes, he's been suspended.
And I think he is in between 7 to 16, or even he was the main bowler who was bowling the depth overs with Wahab Riaz. So, and the second jolt will be Mohammad Irfan. He was unfit in the last game.
Subject to fitness, yes.
I mean, I'm not sure he was going to be 100% fit, and umpires will have a key look at him because you have to carry 20 overs in the field as well. It's not like you bowl 3 to 4 overs and then you can leave the ground. Even Aleem Dar was there and complaining about his fitness. So when there was confirmed news from the medical team that he is unfit, then they were allotted the extra 11th fielder. Before that, they were fielding with 10.
With 10 fielders.
So
yes.
I think it's really important, but for me, it's 70-30, but you got players like Zalmi, you got players like Zazai, you got Shoaib Malik in there. They can change their game on their own. Kamran Akmal is off color, but I mean, in such important games, experience matters a lot. And I think if you compare the batting wise, Zalmi has an edge, but bowling wise, Multan Sultans are better unit than Peshawar Zalmi.
But would you take this argument to a point now that if Peshawar Zalmi have to bat first, then it might be a bit tense for them?
Definitely. I think if Peshawar has to bat first and the score is somewhere around 150 to 170, then they are in for a trouble, because if you look at Multan Sultan, Rizwan is the leading run scorer. Shan Masood has some point to prove, and he also already made 250s. Then you got Shoaib Masood at number 3. Yes. Khush Dilshah is there as well, and Charles, I mean, he can really strike long as well. So the batting wise, Multan Sultan is really good, and it's all about the management. I mean, they have given a lot of confidence to all their players, and as a batting unit, both are similar. Both are filled with power hitters in between. I mean, it's not about first 6 overs, it's about after 6 overs. The way Zazai has hit for Peshawar Zalmi, same Shoaib Masood, Khush Dilshah has delivered for Multan Sultan. So you are absolutely right. If Multan has to bowl first and they restrict Peshawar for somewhere around 150 to 170, it's not going to be easy for Peshawar Zalmi to defend that total, because Samin Gul is their supplementary bowler in place of Umaid Asif or even Irfan, and they still have to pick one bowler to fill that gap. So it's not going to be easy.
You might have Shoaib Malik had to bowl 4 overs. We might see that happening as well. Haider bhai, your thoughts on the concept here that if Peshawar Zalmi has to bat first, then we do realize that their bowling is a bit weaker than Multan Sultans.
Yes, Peshawar Zalmi, if bat first, then it is difficult for them to defend any score 160, 170. They have, if they bat first, they have to get anyhow 180 plus. Otherwise, because Multan Sultan's batting very strong, they have till number 9 the batsman. If you can see in the last matches, Sohail Tanveer has got the runs. So it would be a problem for the Peshawar Zalmi. But I think if the Wahab Riaz will win the toss, then he will go for the bowling first, because the dew factor is very important there in Abu Dhabi. So they will follow dew factor, and might be they will go for the bowling. If they will bat first, then they have to get 180 plus. Otherwise, and I would suggest for the Umaid Asif is not playing, I think they have to go take a risk and get the play Abrar Ahmed, the spinner, because they don't have any regular spinner, and Abrar can be a difference between both teams. He is a good wrist spinner, and he can make some changes in the batting, because Shoaib Masood and other batsmen, Khush Dilshah, they are very, very strong against the fast bowling, but against the spin still they are struggling, and I think they have to get one regular spinner if they want to restrict the Multan Sultan batting to some small score.
Definitely, that can be the case. But Haider bhai, would you believe that in Multan's batting, we know that the other day in the qualifier against Islamabad, Rizwan was out on without scoring early. but it was Shoaib Maqsood who kept on the pressure, and because of his pressure, Shan Masood also felt very easy batting with him, and then Khushdil Shah came up with that cameo. But we know that Khushdil has mostly performed when there have been runs on the board and he's not in pressure. If Zalmi are able to get Shoaib Maqsood early, is that going to be a big mental block for Multan to come over?
It would be a big problem for Multan Sultan because Khurshid Shah in the whole league, entire league, he has not scored big runs. He has got out at lower score. So Multan Sultan is depending upon Rizwan and Shoaib Maqsood. Because Shan Masood, he is not a T20 player. He has got runs in the last matches, but I would say again, he's not a T20 player. He is got lucky. He's getting the chance to opening the inning. But the main feature of the Multan Sultan batting, they are only the Rizwan and Shoaib Maqsood. If they both batsmen, Peshawar Zalmi, can get out early, then Multan Sultan can have some problems because Khushdil Shah and other batsmen, they have some mental pressure and they cannot get the runs too much like they wanted.
Definitely, that might be the case. Nasir bhai, I'd like you to comment on, somebody who never ages, who never looks unfit. He is probably the best example for everybody out there, and that is Shoaib Malik.
Definitely, I mean the fittest player in Pakistan team right now. You have to give respect to your seniors. I mean, that's the basic line for because I mean he's not there in the T20 squad for a very long time, and reasons are not there. I mean, why they have dropped a player like Shoaib Malik, and he has proved a lot even in other T20 leagues. Experience matters a lot, and you need a player like Shoaib Malik in your playing 11 for the coming World Cup. So. I mean, if you just look at the last T20 inning he played, 10 ball 32. I mean, that kind of experience is a must in team because he didn't want Peshawar Zalmi to go into the last 2-3 overs. I mean, pressure rises. You can easily see the game against Karachi Kings. I mean, that kind of pressure, if a good batsman is there, they realize that you don't have to go to the last few overs, finish it off early. And hitting Hassan Ali is in really good form, bowling and batting as well. So I think Shoaib Malik has delivered a lot even in this PSL, but it's about chances. I mean, the way Zazai has performed in the few games, Shoaib Malik hardly gets a chance. It's about getting little opportunities, and you don't have to perform in each and every game. You don't have to be a Babar Azam
Nasir bhai, a lot of people started because he was pushed down, and they included Jonathan Wells. People were calling it a gamble, but when we checked his stats, Jonathan Wells averaged 33 in T20 and had a strike rate of above 110, 120. So you think that the fact, because cricket is now so much in numbers around the world, these crunch players don't mind if they're playing their very first game. They would be going with a strong mental strength, and that's why it worked for them.
Ahmed, it could be a surprise factor as well. I mean, if you just look at, you have to play a player like Jonathan Well in all important eliminator. I mean, it could be a strategy as well because he's coming from, I think, Australian cricket, and he hardly players know about his game. So it could be a plan from Zalmi management, and if the way you look at his batting, I mean he's an all-rounder as well. He could bowl some medium pace as well. So when players are not played with each other, it could give you a edge. And you sitting on the bench, you are observing other players playing. That can give you an extra edge. So I think that could be a strategy, but not to play him in the round games or even in and playing a player like Jonathan Well in an important eliminator. I mean, it's going to be a strategy from the management rather than risking such a spot, because if he fails at that number and Shoaib Malik has to come up early, then things would have been different for Peshawar Zalmi. But unfortunately for Islamabad and luck for Peshawar Zalmi that he delivers, he made a very good 50 and he supported Zazai very well. I mean, if you just look at the pressure on Zazai when he was batting, his strike rate was below 100.
They were keeping him slow.
Slow. But after inning, Zazai got confidence, and I mean, in the last few overs he smashed.
But the good thing is he didn't throw his wicket away like Asif Ali or Iftikhar. So that's a good point to watch out for. Hadier bhai, the gamble of Jonathan Wells really paid off, and it really strengthens the batting, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. In the last match, he has supported very well Peshawar Zalmi and Zazai, and both they have got the runs. I think well, it was a good gamble of the Peshawar Zalmi, and they have got it. They have got positive result. That's a good sign. And now at this moment, when Hadier Ali is not playing, and they have some short of some batsmen, so Wells, it's a good addition to Peshawar Zalmi. The most important thing is that it's not a question of the big player. The question is that any player, what is he doing on this day? This is very, very important. That you can see some big players. They have like Chris Carroll. He has played here in our league, but never he has performed like his big name. But some other small name players, they have played very well. They have supported the teams. They have played a silent role for the victory of the team. So this is the most important. The player, what is he doing at the moment when he has got a chance? This is the most important.
Most important indeed as well. Definitely moving on to predictions as well. We'll go that in just a small bit. Ahmad Butt, is he going to be an important player for Peshawar Zalmi tonight?
It can be. I mean, he's on the bench for the whole tournament.
Yeah, just played one game.
Just played the last game. I think it's not going to be Ahmad Butt. It's going to be the main players like Zazai, Wells, Shoaib Malik, Wahab Riaz. I mean, he can chip in with a couple of wickets, and he could smash a few runs in the later part of the inning. I think it's going to be a spinner as well in the shape of Khalid Usman, and he can play a vital role.
Play a vital role indeed. We'll very quickly go towards the prediction, then we'll move on to the second. Nasser bhai, Multan or Peshawar?
I think it's going to be Multan. It's 50-50, but I think comparing the bowling strength, I think if Peshawar Zalmi bats first, then chances are with Multan.
But Multan or Peshawar?
I think I will go with Multan.
He's going with Multan. Half of the nation is going with Multan tonight. Haider bhai, give me some good news.
I cannot say who will win. The team who will play better, they can win. But the luck is going with the Peshawar Zalmi. Peshawar Zalmi, they have got 2 matches in 2 days. They have won both matches. So I can say that luck is going with the Peshawar Zalmi. Maybe they can win or Multan Sultans, but it's not important which team will win this match. The important thing is that better cricket we will see today. This is
Definitely. Haider bhai, it's very important for us. We have some real good food bets going on here in studios even. So it is very important for us to see who wins. But definitely both of my guests have called it, and I personally think that the heart definitely always says that Multan, for the first time they're in the final. But if you look at the numbers and the performances, then Peshawar Zalmi do have an edge over all the team, because if a side can chase well, if they love chasing, they're not going to lose no matter what happens. Moving on now to the next big thing in cricket, it had to be the World Test Championship. It was thankfully a reserve 6th day that was there, otherwise the weather wreaked havoc. But it was New Zealand who managed to beat India by 8 wickets. A lot of things have been said, but I think a lot of credit needs to be given to New Zealand. The way their bowlers have come up, the squad selection was absolutely spot on. People have criticized India and the team and the management for putting in 2 spinners at a time when they had some good fast bowlers on the bench as well. But definitely a great end to the calendar of Test cricket, and finally New Zealand winning something on the ICC big stage says a lot. Nasser bhai, your thoughts on the Test Championship final?
I think it's really good to see New Zealand win first.
Finally.
Finally, because the spirit of New Zealand cricket is really good. I mean, you love to see New Zealand play. I mean, and if you look at their team management, I mean, they are spot on. They prepare for the big tournaments and they deliver. If you just look at the last World Cup, even if you go back, their team are consistently performing in each and every tournament. It's not about this test championship or the last World Cup or the last T20 World Cup. I mean, the names are there and everybody is performing, and they are coming up with some really good cricketers. I mean, if you just look at the fast bowlers, I mean, they are performing everywhere. Advantage was there because they were playing in England condition, and disadvantage to India. But the aggressive cricket played by New Zealand and the aggressive fast bowling done by New Zealand was really good.
Right, definitely. That's all we have time for, unfortunately. Haider bhai, thank you so much for joining us. Nasar bhai, thank you so much for joining us. We'll just keep a wrap at that. That's all we have time for Sports Extra. You can watch the final live on PTV Sports. That's all we have time for. It's goodbye for now.